So good afternoon. The IU South Bend Libraries has historically picked this week in April, National Library Week, for our Library Awards ceremony. And the library's at the center of the awards we're giving out today. And also, April is National Poetry Month. So in between our two awards, Lee Scott Green from Academic Affairs will read a few of her poems that she published as a student in our journal Analecta while she was attending school here. And I do want to mention that the library is in the process of digitizing all student publications and going back, capturing early years as well, so you can read Lee's poems soon online. After ceremony, please stay to mingle, congratulate winners, and enjoy some refreshments. So I will begin. Today we're here to celebrate two outstanding students. Both these students epitomize the best of IU South Bend. They're motivated, diligent, poised, reflective, and committed to giving 110%, if not more. Our first student is both a scholar and a library employee. Now you can smile now, Jane. Okay. The Franklin D. Schurz Library employs about 20 students like Jane every year to assist with archival processing and scanning, shelving, public relations, circulation, interlibrary loan, information assistance, technical troubleshooting, web work, all sorts of stuff. And these students are really indispensable to our operations and services. So as a way of giving back to our great students, the Friends of the Library established the Library Workers Scholarships back in 2002. And 8 years later, Michelle Russo, the former dean of the library, who's sitting right there in front of me, established an endowed scholarship to endure so we could annually honor exemplary student workers. So all the applicants for this award must have completed 3 semesters of employment either here in the Schurz Library or the YCamp Educational Resource Commons, have a minimum of a 2.7 grade point average. They have to write essays and receive letter of recommendations by supervisors, the library supervisors, as well as a faculty member or academic advisor. And since since 2002, 18 students have received this award. I want to thank Michelle, of course, for providing this wonderful scholarship.
It's actually my husband.
Okay, her husband, John, okay, as well as the award committee, which assisted of Bill Ferry, who is sitting right there in the gray shirt. He's professor of chemistry. Melissa Ayala, who's the Associate Director of Scholarships and Financial Aid, and Steve Sigety, who's a cataloging technician here in the library, as well as all the faculty and library supervisors who wrote letters of support. So let me tell you a little bit about our deserving winner, Jane Wise. Jane has worked in the IU South Bend Libraries since 2011. You may have seen her at the WERC helping a student laminate a poster, or in library administration preparing mailings. In some ways, she's the library student jack of all trades. She works on a variety of projects with a variety of people. Plus, she has 3 supervisors, if not more. Kim, her supervisor over there in the pink sweater, at the WERC, is very complimentary of Jane's positive work ethic, her excellent communication skills, her sound customer service, and her impeccable attention to detail. Angie Huff, her supervisor over here in Schurz Library, notes that Jane has a positive attitude and friendly demeanor that best portrays library administration. She's willing to go the extra mile to help others in the library with special projects in addition to her regular duties. Jane strives to provide excellent customer service to staff members, students, and other library patrons. She's a great representative of the library and the IU South Bend campus in both her roles as a student and an employee. It's no wonder, though, that Jane ended up working in the library. Jane, she loves being completely surrounded by books, even before she came to college, she wrote to us in her essay. And it's not surprising that she's working on a degree in English. Dr. Jake Maddox, her advisor and also a professor of hers for a couple of her classes, wrote this about Jane. Jane is quite simply a model university student exhibiting all the habits that lead to intellectual and educational advancement. She's hardworking, willing to take risks, intellectually curious, and clearly able to succeed while juggling academic work and life obligations. So to further embarrass Jane, her GPA is almost a 3.9. When I look at her transcript, she had 1B. Unbelievable. All right. In the future, she hopes to apply the skills she learned here, her love of books, as she pursues a PhD in literature. She also wants to study in Japan, and she is learning Japanese. Sorry, I can't say any Japanese. So, as the Russo Scholarship winner, Jane will receive $500 toward her fall semester financial aid package. So let's give a round of applause for Jane. Come on, you gotta get a certificate. Here we are for all you picture takers.
Yay, Jane.
So, all right. All right, so Lee, for our little entertainment, is going to come up and read a couple of her poems for National Poetry Month. So please kind of come up here, Lee.
Hello. Thank you, Dean Bloom, for inviting me to read my poems. Congratulations to Jane and Jason on your awards as students. It's my understanding that National Poetry Month was inaugurated by the Academy of American Poets in 1996. It's held every April, and it's the largest literary celebration in the world, with schools, publishers, libraries, booksellers, and poets celebrating poetry's vital place in our culture. To share with you, I'd like to begin with just a small quip by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. She writes, "But poets should exert a double vision, should have eyes to see near things as comprehensively as if afar. They took their points of sight, and distant things as intimately deep as if they touched them." My poem, Near Fall from Grace, is after James Tate's consolation poem. It came about when I took a class with Nancy Botkin, and it was published in the 2010 Analecta and won an honorable mention. Light from the spaces between the trees is reflected in the river, where sacred spirits are dancing in time, flowing downstream into my hand mirror. Along the path, there are cracks in the sidewalk, showing off the slope of the scoliosis, sprayed on graffiti smashing my mother's vertebrae. They know nothing of nearby bluegills, catching flashes of our conversations. The weight of the concrete has been lifted by the roots of the trees, where kindred souls, hidden beneath the surface, whisper through entanglements. I've discovered that I don't need buffalo tattoos and tartan plaid kilts to be reminded of you. After dreaming all the animals were gone from the zoo, one thirsty lion attacked, like a wounded, bleeding warrior far from home. I can smell the sweet grass, cedar, and sage oils mixing with your Stetson. From the edge of this cliff, I'm learning to love as the bats swoop above me and around me like the signal over Gotham City. 2010. Recently, I came across a poem by John O'Donohue. And it really spoke to me and rung true. He talks about what is original, the creative process within all of us. And I liked how he worded this. May your imagination know the grace of perfect danger to reach beyond imitation and the wheel of repetition, deep into the call of all the unfinished and unsolved, until the veil of the unknown yields something original, begins to stir toward your senses and grow stronger in your heart, in order to come to birth in the clean line of form that claims from time a rhythm not yet heard, that calls space to a different shape. May it be its own force field and dwell uniquely between the heart and the light, to surprise the hungry eye by how deftly it fits about its secret loss. This poem I wrote after attending a concert by John Mayrose here at the university, who was a guitarist and faculty in our fine arts department in the Racklin School of the Arts. And I attended his concert, and I was inspired to write when I arrived home. This poem was published in the following year's Analecta 2011. This one's called Driftwood Waiting for a Chest Opener. I was going to tell you in time an Egyptian love poem lifted from papyrus, my canoe. The river is a hand mirror in this light. Droplets fall from my paddle, setting tones into motion, expanding sound waves through veiled centuries. Find you here, driftwood, waiting for a chest opener. In the recital hall, your shadow on the curtain, composer, your inclination to rest your weariness, bearded chin on your guitar, my body, your arm wraps around a lotus bud in my chest. I bend my neck like a swan. Current carries one white feather. The rowers break the surface with each oar, the clanging of bells, the harmony of response. The universe enters, whale songs reaching through depths of many oceans, continents, tones returning in circular patterns, pitch, piling, looping, circling back to resonance. The fire in your gaze, I wade this vessel to shore. The earth wobbles on her axis, pulsating. I am shimmering in your music. Your harbor fades in the distance in this light headiness of when will I see you again? And crickets carry the gift of the memory. Then dawn finds me alone in Turin. I'm reminded of the musician poet Donovan from the 60s. Thrown like a star in my vast sleep, I open my eyes to take a peep, to find that I was by the sea, gazing with tranquility. I'll leave you with one last poem. It's called The Chances, as in, what are the chances that I should stand here representing poets? A glimpse from a bittersweet bridge over moments and years. Smoke screens drift upstream just above the river's surface. Anesthesia. Visions from the highway, a thin crescent moon on a silver cord in the west. Time changes, earth shines and lifts her head. Are you really there? Dreams of wing morphology in Garudasana, the eagle, soars spirit and intellect. Elevation, third eye opens. Infraspinatus lengthening, shoulder blades drop their landing gear. Junipers hold the ground rattles, shaking off accumulated decibels and sleep deprivation. Tesla tells me to try. Throw the switch. Watch the airfield. My lights glow violet blue. Thank you.
All right. So that was very, very lovely. Okay. And thank you, Lee. She has a beautiful voice, don't you agree? And so you also hear that as she teaches yoga here on campus. And in restorative, you just feel with Lee's voice that you're just being lifted up to the heavens. So anyway, we are also here today to award the Library Prize for Undergraduate Research, which recognizes excellence in undergraduate research projects and demonstration of sophisticated library research skills, adept use of resources into original scholarship, and reflection upon the research process. This year's selection committee comprised Dr. Lee Smith from the School of Education, Dr. Samantha Joyce from Communication Arts and the Racklin School of the Arts, and Kirby Chen, who is here, from the library, along with Chair Nancy Colburn. And they all unanimously agreed that Jason Rose was deserving of this award. His project title is, it's a long title, The Politics of Persuasion, the No Hymn of Hate of the CPI and the 4-Minute Men During the First World War. Jason completed this work for Dr. Lisa Zwicker during the spring 2014 semester in History B361 20th Century Europe. The committee was impressed by Jason's use of a wide variety of library resources, not only which covered a variety of print and electronic books, journals, and newspapers from IU South Bend libraries, but also included primary source archival materials that he accessed at numerous archives, including the University of Notre Dame Library, the Center for History, Chicago Public Library, and the beautiful Newberry Library. He received research assistance from librarian Allison Stancroft, from whom he learned how to employ subject-specific databases and how to use an article's bibliography to discover more resources. They go on further to note that Jason also demonstrated an excellent ability to analyze and synthesize his sources into a finished project. His paper is logically structured. The transitions among different sections are smooth. His writing flows naturally, and his arguments are clear and persuasive. That sounds like poetry. All right. It is rare that we see a project that is extended beyond one semester and is thus a product of extensive and ongoing revision. This is the case with Jason's paper, and it shows. Dr. Zwicker was equally impressed by the depth of Jason's research and breadth, uncovering, stating that it was a fascinating body of primary research. She spoke to Jason's effective application of information literacy principles, persuasive and nuanced analysis, and thanks to a SMART grant that he received, sustained work. Jason, you have set the gold standard. In Dr. Zwicker's 10 years of teaching here at IUSB, she's never encountered a student so dedicated to the history department and mentoring other students. Peer mentor, editor-in-chief of the Undergraduate Research Journal in History, officer in the History Club, history intern, and soon-to-be graduate student at Ball State. Let's congratulate Jason Rose, our winner in the Library Prize for Undergraduate Research. So Jason, come on up. So here is I'll open it so see it. Yes, an IU check for $500 for his going off to Ball State, Education Redefined. And, whoops, I'm putting it back in, it's taking me forever, so I'll use that. And he gets a plaque. So, listening. And also, his name is added to a plaque that we have downstairs for all the prize winners that are hung. And his paper is over there on the table as well. And can we have Dr. Zwicker come up, say a couple of words too, please?
Congratulations, Jason. Thank you. So Jason wrote a fine and compelling paper, but as we've heard, I think more than that, Jason has been an outstanding student. He's served the history department in numerous ways. He's been the lead intern for international programs this last year. And as part of this work, I think he's really helped to expand the presence of international programs across campus. He's, as you've heard, he's been a wonderful mentor to other students. You'll see the students that he worked with as their peer mentor coming through his office. As I walk down the hall, I often notice that students are waiting to see Jason to talk to him about their projects and about their work for their classes. Jason wrote a compelling, persuasive paper, and he's really a fine representative of IU South Bend students, and he has a very bright future ahead of him in the profession.
Thank you, Jason.
Sure.
Okay.
That's going to be hard to top. I didn't necessarily come from like the greatest background. As you can see, I'm not 22, senior here. So being where I'm at today is actually a great testament to faculty like Dr. Zwicker, who I came into her office frustrated, another professor, and then here we are now. So I couldn't ask for a better mentor, and just a real inspiration to me as a budding historian and professional, and just a fantastic mentor. I routinely tell people that they had not really had IUSB unless they had her in the class, and I truly mean that. I mean, I think most things of where I am at now is directly a result of her tutelage. Yeah, I just can't speak enough about her. Like, I use this cliche, but I'm trying not to cry. I used this cliche before as like I'm kind of like this little rock, and she's sculpted me to where I'm at today. So it represents her dedication. And then I should also thank Allison, who's has answered numerous weird questions from me extremely late at night via email. And you should sleep sometime, because I don't sleep, and I send emails at like 1, and you respond back relatively quick, and I don't. It just shows her dedication to her craft, and she's a blessing, both Dr. Zwicker and Allison, to this campus, and they need pay raises. So, thank you.
So this concludes our ceremony. We have refreshments over there in the other part of our 5th floor. And please help yourself eat. As a Jewish mother, I have to say that. And again, congratulations to our winners. So thank you.